What's up, guys? My name is Tristan. Today I'm going to show you how to study efficiently for grad school, um, undergraduate school, or any school really that matters. It's all digitally now, so it's really hard to study. Anyways, here we go. So before you start, you always wanted to create a routine, and that routine will depend on you. You could be studying always at night, or studying in the morning, or study in Starbucks, or study while hanging out with your friends. Doesn't really matter as long as you do with it and stick with it every single time. Me personally, I like to study really early in the morning or really late at night, and I like to sit on my favorite chair. That's about it. Once you have that, you are about halfway done into studying. What you're going to do next is you're going to create a list, and you're going to list of terms that matters to you, right? Your brain can only hold so much. So try to only put things that you really want to remember. So here is an example of my list that matters to me for my finals in my pediatric class. So I have it already highlighted, or I had it highlighted. I'm just gonna highlight it another time because why not give it a second chance, right? So I highlighted it. I will then paste it onto Google Sheets, and let me tell you guys, Google Sheets is probably one of the best thing that has ever happened into the whole wide world. So here is my Google spreadsheet, and I've already set it up. Here we just have terms, definitions, signs and symptoms, diagnostic test, medical treatment, nursing intervention, nursing consideration, and complication. So it's pretty dang straightforward. I will then paste it, and when you paste it, sometimes it get wacky. So right click, press this paste special, and then do paste format only. That way, oh, my bad, not format only. Paste values only. Values only. And there we go. So I'm not that kind of guy who really cares about the function and setting of it. But if you are, well, I'm gonna tell you, there's this little box right here. Press that, change it to whatever you want. Personally, I liked my font size small, just so I can fit it on one page. My brain can only hold one page of this term. So there's that. And then what happens next? I will need to fill this out. So when I do fill it out, that's kind of the most time-consuming part, but it tends to stick in my brain. But let me show you how to make it so you remember it once. Well, here we go. So before you start, you don't want to dive in and just like start memorizing all of it, right? Well, give yourself an exposure, kind of like when you're trying to do your workout, you do some sort of warm up by stretching, by lifting lesser weight materials and this and that. You're optimizing your muscle groups. Same with your brain. Your brain is a muscle. You want to optimize the function of your brain. You don't want it to get burnt out in like 15 minutes. That would suck. So I'm just exposing myself, not really caring about anything. However, I'm just looking at the slide, giving myself an idea, like orientation wise. You can see this slide is not very appetizing to the eyes. It has a lot of small font size, and the images are all over the place. But at least, it's quite funny. Here I'm looking that there's basically about tumors and X-related, blood-related disorders and stuff like that. So once you have an exposure of that, you're not just going to go ahead and start memorizing it from the beginning. What you're going to do next is you're going to look at the heading, just the heading. By looking at the heading, it's giving you sort of like a big umbrella, of what the topic is going to be, right? So here I'm looking at, so it says cancer, signs and symptoms, Wills tumor, leukemia, WBC, febrile neutropenia, brain tumors, HIV/AIDS in pediatric, pneumocytitis, HIV treatment, etc., etc. Okay, so enough of that. So you do that throughout the whole time, throughout your whole PowerPoint, and then once you have that, you kind of have an idea of what the topic is going to be. So for this case, it's going to be a lot about tumor, about a lot about complications of tumor and this and that. Next, you start creating dots, and those dots are your tumor, cancer, whatever, signs and symptoms, and all other stuff. Try to like make a mesh work or network in your brain. So what I really care about is Wills tumor. Well, because I already know what cancer is, I don't have to try to remember it again. This is kind of new to me. What I do next is I go back to my list and I just kind of copy paste what I need to know. So here we have Wilms tumor, right? So terms, what is Wilms tumor? Well, Wilms tumor is a malignant nephroblastoma. So to break down the word, nephro means referring to the kidney. Blastoma usually is kind of like big cells. So think of like abnormal cells in the kidneys. That's basically what it is. And it's a malignant, so it's cancer producing. So it's a malignant nephroblastoma. And next is a sign and symptoms. Like any other cancer, they probably will feel weak, fever because of that immune response. Now, very specific to this is they have abnormal high blood pressure. And you would probably wonder why. It's because of renin. You know, if you have a freaking big abdominal mass in your kidney and your kidney's function is to release renin, release erythropoietin, affects your blood pressure, secretes waste. What else does the kidney do? Fluid imbalances, stuff like that. So everything, all of that is affected. And you just kind of like, you know, make a network in your brain like, whoa, damn, I didn't know my kidney does that. I should probably reduce consumption of stuff that could kill your kidney. After you engage in those stuff. My life is my life, you know? Okay, so we got that. Another special to Wilms tumor is that on a blood work, on your CBC will show high H&H. And most of you guys probably know that high H&H means that somebody has polycythemia or some sort that would make production of hemoglobin hematocrit really high, you know? Usually you would see it like low or on a dehydrated patient. Well, this patient is not dehydrated. They have a tumor in their kidney. And it's because their erythropoietin production is increased. What? And if your erythropoietin production is increased, that means your red blood cell is increased, and that disease is called polycythemia. So that's a complication, right? Polycythemia, which could lead to clot formation. And when there is clot formation, it could lead to a lot of problems. PE is one of them, pulmonary embolism. Another diagnostic, I think, well, it's more of an assessment really, is abdominal mass. Now, usually you would want to palpate the abdominal mass, but for this Wilms tumor, you don't want to palpate it. So for my nursing intervention, no abdominal palpation. And you're probably wondering why, because IPPA, you want to inspect, palpate, percuss, and auscultate. My bad, you don't do that. Well, that is for the GI, IPPA. But usually you would want to inspect, auscultate, palpate, percuss. I could be wrong. Oh no, I'm failing. Whatever, right? All right, whatever's clever. So no abdominal palpation due to possible dislodgement of malignant cancer cell. Where it's gonna go? Well, kidney usually goes into, well, the flow of the kidney usually go, or how the blood flow works is hepatic portal vein goes back to the heart, goes into the lungs. So usually lungs. It would metastasize on lung cancer. So for my nursing consideration, lung cancer to metastasize lungs. That's about it. Here, this is the medical treatment. So medical treatment would probably include some sort of surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and probably removal. That surgery is actually called a nephrectomy. If the abdominal mass is, huge enough to be surgically removed. About, I don't know, 70-90%. I'm not a doctor, so not sure really what's the criteria for that. Maybe something I would look into the future and see. Simple as that, right? So this note-taking mechanism is really not something that you should front upon and think that your life is game over. You have to fill up 150 cells. It's actually pretty fun because you're learning, you feel good about yourself, and tomorrow you're gonna wake up and feel like a boss. Feel like a boss because people would treat you with respect. Knowledge is power, and it's sexy. All right, you have a good time studying. Bye.